Hello, everyone. This is Brother
Yes,
Benson. I'm joined with Kennedy Sankara. Sankara, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, Brother Ben,
Mm-hmm.
but we are not doing that much well as a country.
What's not happening?
If my country is not doing well, then definitely I'm not doing well.
Mm,
You just add by yourself that the Minister for Health
yeah,
saying that he is no longer going to consult the citizens on
yeah.
sovereign matters. Who the hell does Aden Duale think he is? So I'm damn mad at him and the government of Kenya Kwisha.
Mm. So
Yes.
maybe to begin with, before even we go to what Adan Duale, the CS was talking about, actually he did that in Parliament, and after a few minutes, he was also at one of the TV station. He continued. People call it arrogancy, and maybe what is the state of the nation when you look at it, and the state of the nation and its people?
Ben, Kenya is in the state of disgrace.
Mm,
Nothing is actually working.
yeah.
Today in Kenya, the news of has been killed, has been kidnapped is as regular as the wind.
Mm,
The cost of living is at the top.
mm,
Fuel prices, for the first time, it's like saying salt has become more expensive than sugar. When you
mm,
tell me diesel is more expensive than petrol,
mm,
education, it is the way it is. Disaster response is zero. El Nino is coming. The government has not outlined its preparedness because for the first time we are witnessing rains even in June.
mm.
The government is waiting for last minute rush. Then you add the government, uh, allocating 29 shillings per head or for every Kenyan so that we can get Ebola. I mean, nothing is working.
Nothing is working. Okay,
Kenya is the way it is.
let me talk. Let's
People are sleeping with millions of shillings in cash,
cash.
whereas there are people who cannot afford basic medical health. Access to medical health care. So really,
Yeah, maybe before we discuss even what Adwan Dwale said, you mentioned something called about disaster management, and we've looked at the history of especially fire disasters that we usually have, especially in school, going all the way to Bombolulu Girls to where we are today. There's something that we are still not getting. Where do problem lies, especially when it comes to disaster management? That is one. Or two, the precautions um, uh, or safeguards that we should put in, especially our schools. Where is the problem? Is the problem with the school, or the problem is with the people who have been given the mandate to make sure that things are working?
on school issues, it's an all-round stakeholder problem.
Yeah.
If the school will, when it comes to disaster management, it's all about management. Management is just not waiting for the disaster to occur, then you mitigate. Preventive measures is part of disaster management. A speculation of arson of a dormitory is a potential disaster in waiting.
Yeah.
Its mitigation and probable prevention is a plus towards disaster management. So if the school has failed to listen, to highlight, to identify, and to stop these actions before they take place, they have
Mhm.
failed.
Mhm.
What causes this fire?
Mhm.
It is the student disgruntlement. What
Mhm.
has the administration done?
Mhm.
The administration always waits for, I think I've suffered the blackout, but it will
Okay.
be well.
Okay.
The administration will always wait
Mhm.
until the students go on rampage.
Mhm.
Then they come with an unrealistic compensation, whatever amount. So we really need to get to know what is it that the students want.
Mhm.
Is it possible? If not, how do we mitigate? We need to talk to each other, not talk at the students.
Yeah.
These people are adults. They can feel, they can see, and they got the rights to be listened to.
Mhm.
We don't have to wait until things go south, then we come with choreographed stories. This is the reason, that is no, no, no. So
You,
in this case,
Mhm.
parents have failed to
Mhm.
instill discipline in their children,
Mhm.
because the children have become property of their parents.
Yeah.
Unlike initially when children were the property of the society, they would not sit and watch your child go bad and wait because it is Brother Ben's son and not mine. It was a collective responsibility. The school has actually failed to listen and to intervene. The students have equally failed by resorting to communication via violence
Mhm.
and arson. So it is an all system failure, but the buck stops with the schools.
Mm. Like let's take an institution because I believe you are one person that has gone through school, and there are times when something is yet to happen or there's a plan for any eventuality. There are those telltale signs. We call them red flags, especially. But you find maybe sometimes we get information of these red flags, and you find that the people who have those information tend to ignore. Uh, you know, at that point in time, whereby you have information and you keep information with you, um, and it ended up happening. Can you be held liable for that because you got the information but you did not take action?
You should. You are an accomplice.
Mm,
You are aiding a crime to be committed, or aiding a criminal in committing a crime. So you are part and parcel of the criminality.
mm. All right. Okay.
Today, for example, let's use myself as an example. I
Yeah.
have information of a potential terror attack against my country.
Mhm.
It happens, then later on they find out that Sankara was aware that Kenya was due for an attack, and I didn't share the critical information to the relevant authorities. I
Mm,
will be charged with terrorism or aiding terrorism.
mm,
Lawyers would put it better. So harboring information that leads to crime is a criminal act in itself.
mm. So does it
Yeah.
mean that in our society we do not have this discussion more often to create awareness to the students or even any other persons who are within this institution, that just in case if you tend to gather any or intelligence, especially surrounding the school, that is negative, you should share with the relevant authority rather than coming to admit immediately after it happens? Does it mean that conversation and awareness is lacking within us, in our society or our setup of living?
I know the fear of victimization may also play a fact. I
Mm,
mean, a part in the person not sharing the information, because most schools will label the person sharing the intelligence as part of the group and will share, I mean, suffer collateral damage. So that's why in most cases students may opt to keep quiet, and that's why I'm saying even the students have failed to communicate rather than talking through action. Human beings are talkative in nature.
yeah.
We are talking organisms. We need to entertain interactions with each other. We
Yeah.
know what is happening. What do you feel? How do we go about it?
Mhm.
It
Okay.
stops being a me responsibility, but a we responsibility.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much. That is a conversation that I think it should continue going on, especially creating awareness, especially even to the public, especially maybe you have an information that, as you gave earlier example of something is yet to happen or people plan to do something to our country and you have that information. It is your responsibility as a citizen actually to share it with the relevant authorities so that we can prevent. That is what we call proactive. And also in the institutions
Yes.
like schools, if at all any student or any teacher or any other staff member get information, whether it is true or false, just make sure you share it, because at the end of the
And
day,
it be acted upon.
yes, and it can save a big deal, All right.
It
Uh,
doesn't mean, Ben, that
mhm.
when I report a case of a potential threat,
Yeah.
then it is true. At
Mhm.
times, people speak malice against others. It may turn out to be malicious allegation, but
Yeah.
it is the work of law enforcement to investigate. The
Yeah.
schools, upon getting the information that there is potential strike, the first thing they need to do is to seek the approval from the relevant ministry of
Mhm.
education officials and send those students home to release the tension.
Mhm.
Nobody is going to touch the school having come from home directly speaking to their parents
Yeah.
and their guardians and parents having been informed that the main reason as to why we've released your son or daughter is
Yeah.
because they were planning to burn down the school. It will never happen.
Yeah.
But I know it all mentality,
Mhm.
use of thorax and corporal punishment,
Yeah.
fear of victimization,
Mhm.
and some ruthlessness that some school admins employ may drag us to where we don't need to be.
Maybe before we go to the next discussion, actually our main discussion, there was an issue, and this was on the internet. I saw quite a number of people are complaining, whereby students were sent home, and we are in the era of content creation, maybe to get views. Then you find that a parent kind of like interviews uh, uh, the kid and give the information, of what happened. What does this one impact, especially on the kid when you go back to school, or again on the school? If you do it on in the context of public, before the school itself call you as a parent to let you know what was going on, or the main reason why they were sent home.
Some parents, I would say education is important. It's all about going to school.
Yeah.
It's about being uh, situationally informed,
Yeah.
situational awareness. This kid needs the company of his or her colleagues.
Hmm.
When he or she gets back to school,
Yeah.
how is the social life of the
Yeah.
kid?
Hmm.
Because the school will label him or a quote unquote a snitch.
Or a traitor.
So we are going to subject this innocent kid
Hmm.
into isolation.
Mm.
And uh, how do we call it? We do say that an idle mind is a devil's workshop.
Yes.
The devil makes very beautiful furniture in those idle minds.
Yeah.
So I would wish that some things remain private and confidential. It is
Yes.
the work of the school to investigate and find out who did what. I have been a student, I was a student leader. I have been to a school when strike broke out and people were sent home.
Yeah.
And getting back to school was a rigorous process. My
Hmm.
late father had to accompany me to school.
Yeah.
That day, there was no prefect, there was no common student. Every student was being treated by the name tag. You are all students who went on strike. Who did what?
Hmm.
I remember we were being asked who stoned the DO because the DO was apparently stoned.
Yeah.
And now uh, the process went as it should be. So I think it is a defensive attempt by the parent to interview their own kid, trying to paint a picture of them and not we, and not me.
Hmm.
So it is a blame game strategy. I
Oh.
fault it, and it's something not to be emulated.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that short discussion on the issues that are happening around our institutions, on how we can be proactive, especially on matters that might cause damage to where we are living or in our institution. Mr. Sankara, we have a conversation that is going around the country. It's about the issue of Ebola, and we know that our neighboring country, especially DRC, they are going through it. And Kenya is saying they're getting prepared, or they are prepared to handle the Ebola by today. I heard the president say that they've put up quarantine like 23 places. So which means if there are 23 such, we have the one that is bringing contentious issue, the one in Laikipia. This is what is bringing issue. Maybe to begin with, when we talk about the sovereignty of a nation, how do that one look like?
Ben, the sovereign power belongs to the people of Kenya
Mm,
and shall be exercised in a manner consistent with this constitution, the Constitution 2010.
yeah.
The people shall or may,
Mhm,
if we, the people, are not consulted in what matters in
mm,
our lives, then who are they leading? Because this is a delegated responsibility.
mm,
I can be a president, you can be a president, but we can't have 10 presidents in one country. We just decide for one of us to lead.
mhm,
So the sovereignty of the people of Kenya is under attack because setting a quarantine facility is a government responsibility as one of the fundamental inalienable constitutional rights, the right to accessible and affordable healthcare,
yeah.
preventive healthcare. But setting up a quarantine facility to host foreign nationals is a breach in our sovereignty.
Mhm,
The American health budget is 800 plus times that
mhm,
of our health Ministry of Health.
mm,
When it comes to scientific advancement and technological advancement,
mm,
America is superb. It's ahead of the rest.
yeah.
They refer to us as a developing country, probably a third world behind the scenes.
Mhm,
I don't see the reason as to why the American citizens should be dumped in Kenya as a quarantine. You don't contract a disease elsewhere, then be brought to Kenya to
mm,
be quarantined. Even America itself will not allow you to go to
mm,
America with these diseases
yeah.
or signs.
Mhm,
Further to that, I am not a medic, but I can tell you it is in the practice of public health
mm,
that, let me use my knowledge in agriculture, which I learned in school.
mhm,
Whenever there were outbreaks of livestock diseases, there were quarantine measures. These measures involved stopping or limiting movement of infected animals from affected areas to non-affected areas.
yeah.
The same principle applies to human diseases. You cannot bring people from an infected region to a free space in the name of quarantine.
Mhm,
The America should come bold about their main purpose in Kenya. To
mhm,
me, I feel it's not about Ebola. It's
yeah.
not about quarantine. There
Mhm,
is some hidden agenda
mm,
that the man at the top of the hill may be privy to or not that America is up to in Kenya. But we, as the people of Kenya, we are open to progressive investments.
yeah.
We are open to strategic partnership, but we are not open to breach of our sovereign power. The sovereignty of the people is paramount. If the Minister for Health can say in Parliament that under the public health management, the government do not need to consult citizens on issues like Ebola, a
Mm,
serious Parliament should have initiated um, an impeachment motion against CS Duale today. If I were an MP, by now I shall have drafted an impeachment motion and tabling it before the Honorable House to seek the impeachment of the CS, because that is gross misconduct and misuse of office.
When you look at all these parameters that we have, because we have, with the sovereignty we have the people who have been given mandates to do the checks and balancing, including the parliament that you've mentioned. But you find that the CS for health can even go to parliament and declare that what he said, that the Kenyan need to be consulted, especially when it comes to that, and he is in the house whereby the laws enactment and the law processes of this country are being made, and you find that nothing so much serious happens. What does it communicate about the leadership that we have in both the checks and balances of the country?
There is a provision in the constitution that stipulates the checks and balances. And the main goal is to prevent overstretch of one arm of the government into the jurisdictional functions of another arm of the government. We cannot have a country where a Changa consumer is arrested for breaking the law and taken to court, charged and sentenced.
Yes.
And have the same courts, the same country where the court rules in the favor of the people who are sovereign in this case, but the government continues to act ultra-vires of the court pronouncements. The court orders are not suggestions. They are institutionally binding directives that resembles or seeks to protect and enhance the sovereignty of the people of Kenya. If everyone was to wake up today and say that what the court says becomes a lullaby, there is no police station, we are not going, we are not boarding anything, nobody's going to tell us. Those mad in power like Aden Duale will not even have a country to survive it. So we must really respect the courts. You can respect the courts even if you do not agree with them. The court judgments and decisions are not mere legal suggestions. These are institutionally binding directives that must be respected. I'm trying to imagine a scenario whereby Kenyans in Nairobi wake up to say those court orders are mere opinions of judges seated on those crowns. I'm not boarding. A citizen in Kisumu says they are not going to respect court orders. The citizens in Mombasa say they are not going to respect orders. Do you know, Ben, we are going to have the state of anarchy? Are those leading by disregarding the court orders ready to bear the repercussions of that revolt? If the people say, okay, the laws are only applicable to a section of people, fine, now let it be the way it is. Will we have a country called the the Republic of Kenya, the capital of Africa, the pride of Africa? We will not have it. So the leaders must be cautious on how they are dealing with the citizens. We are not their workers, we are their bosses. I wake up to pay tax so that Aden Duale can speak to me arrogantly in parliament. In fact, a serious MP should have dragged him and slapped him thoroughly before he could be kicked out of parliament. So
we do not have serious MPs.
We do not know that parliament. It is, you know, when you watch several movies, I will not mention them, which suggests how power is played. Then you will understand where we are. Our president is very arrogant because he knows the motion of impeachment originates from the house that he has bought. Therefore, it's very comfortable. And because we are in a constitutional democracy, governments brought to power through elections can only be removed through elections. And that is the opinion that I hold. But we should not misuse the provisions of the constitution. So That is something that we should not entertain going forward.
Okay, maybe if you look at the saga around, especially the facility that is supposed to be put up in Laikipia Air Base,
In Laikipia.
yeah, or Nanyuki Air Base, where it is, and with all that is happening, because if we start, I came to know of it, one, through Washington Post. Secondly, through Marco Rubio, when he had a pressure, that's I came to know of it. Then, when the conversation was going on, the president was celebrating the Jamhuri Day, which means we are still there. People, it's not a one-day thing. It's something that should be celebrated until the end.
What
Of,
are we even celebrating?
yeah.
You're celebrating 60 years of
Of,
a country that cannot feed itself, a country that still has power flickering, like the way you saw it doing live on the show. And I
yeah,
mean, right in one of the biggest cities in Kenya, not in
yeah.
the outskirts. I'm right, actually in the city. We are celebrating Madaraka in a country where a president can wake up, sign a deal, and and end up saying, "I don't really care what you are going to say."
Mm,
We are celebrating a Madaraka in a country where people still struggle to attain basic human needs.
mhm.
We are celebrating a Madaraka in a county
Yeah.
where getting clean water
Mhm.
is like speaking to God one on one.
Mm,
I have been to Wajir, I have been to Garissa, I have been to Moyale, and I can confidently speak here without any fear of favor that we need to invest more money in pro people's lifestyles than these shenanigans. You
mm.
cannot build a stadium worth billions of shillings in a place where people trek on donkeys for more than 20 kilometers, 30 kilometers just to scoop swamp water. Shame on our government.
So where is our priorities? Maybe where is the priorities? Where is our priority lies? That's also something that can be asked. That when we are doing our projects, or when making sure that this development that the government is putting in place, do we prioritize what do we need, or they're just done for
The,
normalities?
the CS for Health clarified it yesterday that they don't need to consult Kenyans on what they want to do. So
Mm,
I don't know whom they are doing those things for. Duale's statement should be carried with a lot of weight.
mm.
He said that they don't need to consult us to mean they do what they want the way they want. For instance,
Yeah.
this government, how we agreed, it's not doing. And how it's doing, it's not how we agreed.
Yeah.
So the element of consultation, public participation, is a thing of the past.
What
The
about communication?
public participation requirement is not a mere constitutional suggestion.
Mm,
It is the glue that binds the citizens with the product or the project, sorry, that the government intends to do in favor of the people. Who are the people here? The people of Kenya.
okay. Maybe, Sankara, as we talk about the Ebola and how um, beast it is, and we know very well that we have counties, you know, and these counties, some of these counties have like our borders, then they have their health systems. We are just concentrating about the national government, but we are not concentrating or looking into how the counties, especially, are prepared, their preparedness, just in case if a particular county is exposed, how are they going to deal or to treat the people in those counties?
That speaks to devolution.
Yeah,
The objects of devolution have not been met.
yeah.
The national government is still gatekeeping a lot of things.
Mm,
Some of those counties do not have resources, and the available little resources are being eaten like yam in the farm.
Yeah.
You saw today somebody sleeps with over 250 million in
Yes.
their house in cash.
In cash.
Yes.
Actually, it was 65.3 million.
You know, that's a lot of money.
Atu meibeba aje?
No, they are working with this money, and that's why they are telling you, I mean, we don't need to consult you. Power and money has gotten into their brains. So they only think power and money. Your opinions are inconsequential. That's what they're trying to tell us.
Now, maybe to help us understand, because the way President reasoned that for the last 30 years or so, American have always stood with Kenya. They've assisted Kenya in various activities in terms of resource mobilization, things to do fighting HIV, fighting malaria, and all that. And if you are very keen today, when he was even having pressure there on in South Africa, there is a word that he said. I can quote him on what President said, especially in South Africa, where he said, I quote him, "It would be most unfortunate if on one request by the Americans to set up a facility on their coast, we would refuse. We would look very inhuman." That is Mr. President. Does it mean that people do not understand where President is coming from in terms of collaboration and support of resources that United States has offered to Kenya?
We know our president. He's not new to us. He was elected by the people of Kenya.
Yeah.
We talk to him daily. We know him. When I say we know the president, I don't want to say father.
Yeah.
If those resources, there is no transparency on how those resources were located and where they're going to.
Mm-hmm.
If America, actually, we do not need America's help in a country which loses 2 billion daily. We don't need that help of America. The Americans who need the America's help more than we Kenyans need America's help. America should divert its resources to settling the homeless in the streets, to fight racism, and to equalize a society fair to all the American residents. That should be their top priority, not setting an Ebola airbase, in our airbase in Kenya. We do not need the help of America.
Yeah.
For a country that can lose a paltry of 2 billion daily, that's a lot of money. We can even loan some to America. We do not need the help of America in fighting disease outbreak. We have preventive measures. It is the government's responsibility, which is budgeted responsibility, Ben. It is not just a mere responsibility. This is a budgeted and financed responsibility. The American sympathy, let me respond to the president's statements. The American sympathy is more inhuman to Kenyans than the Kenya's rejection of American sympathy.
Yeah.
You should know that.
Okay.
You cannot outsource. I mean, it's like outsourcing diseases. Can Kenyans be quarantined in Florida if they contracted Ebola or COVID-19 today? Is there element of reciprocity between America and Kenya? Can America accept Sankara with coronavirus variant, the most dangerous variant of the virus? Can they accept me with Ebola, with a bleeding mouth and a bleeding eye, to stay in Washington? Our independence was not to make America feel loved. We are here to protect the sovereignty of the people of Kenya and what Kenya has fought for. This administration is draining everything. One step forward, 10 steps backward. Since the president came to power, everything is like we are on a factory reset mode. And this goes back to the previous administration, which he was part of. because documents coming up shows that this is not just a now deal. It is something that was signed some time back.
Mm.
It's wrong.
Now, when you go to our constitution, also it provides that the citizen uh, has the right of information, especially, and better health care. And if
Yes.
you look at the information that the citizens are getting, especially surrounding this, it seems to be very scanty. If not scanty, it's not very convincing, especially not everything is put in open air so that people can discuss and see the merits and the demerits of maybe the deal that was reached, of the money that is supposed to be coming. So accessibility of information, especially for the public, is very scanty, you know. And how will this one, at least if the relevant authorities want to talk to Kenyans and especially to convince them that the decision that we are taking is very okay, how can they convince that if the information itself is scanty on their side, they are opaque in their information, you know?
Ben, you know what? Everyone in Ruto's government is talking, but no one is effectively communicating.
Mm,
I think that's enough to respond to that.
okay. All right. Thank you so much. And I know this is a discussion that we will continue having because there's a court order, conservatory order that is in place. And yesterday, I listened to the CS when he was in this interview. Then, when he was told, he said, like everything can just continue the way it is. Anyway, that's the
Somebody should remind Duale that power is transient. We've seen presidents going to jail. He is a mere CS.
mm,
He risks being jailed. The next administration, I know, is going to be very tough on this administration. And
mm,
people like Duale should know that crimes do not expire.
yeah. Okay.
Subversion of, I mean, disregard of court orders,
Mm,
they have been filed. One day, one time,
mm,
I will rise and go to court and demand for his immediate arrest and prosecution.
mm,
He will be an ordinary citizen gracing thin camels in Garissa.
uh,
We will send him to Garissa prison. So he should not think he's above the law.
mhm. Okay. Sankara, I know you are in Kisumu. Of late, Kisumu has been on the headline, especially matters to do with security. Maybe, is there any improvement in that county of Professor?
Nyong'o is just a professor on papers. Otherwise, on the ground is a kindergarten dropout.
Uh,
Yes, he is only a professor when it's time to speak.
mm,
Because a city is defined by its surrounding.
mm,
Today, you walk in Kisumu, you find heaps of dam sites all over.
mm,
Today, you walk in Kisumu, the street lights are not working. Today, you walk in Kisumu, the outskirts and county roads are banana farms without plantain.
mm,
So, how is a professor helping me? Their work is to roam the city with orange t-shirts,
yeah,
shouting, "We are in government." We don't need people to tell us we are in government. If we are in government, the government does not explain its existence. It
yeah.
is felt,
Mhm,
it is seen.
mm,
The noise of Nyawawa that we are hearing from
mm,
our people
yeah.
do not really translate into a government. Actually, why do you even need to explain to us that you're in government? We need to see.
I think, like most majority of the time, they say that we are in broad-based government and we'll form the next government.
Ooh,
So those
ooh.
statements,
So, Ben,
yeah.
we are already, they are not in. They are in those broad uh, bread government, as they put it. They are eating. It is their turn.
Mm,
Why do you need to explain to us that you are in the government to form the next government? Show us what you've done with the shortest time you've been in this so-called government. And I want to tell you, the ordinary citizens have never been in government or in opposition. Never.
mm,
It is crooked politicians who play varying roles or interchangeably in different camps.
Mhm.
There's no a single day you and me are going to be in government or in opposition as citizens in that capacity.
Yeah.
Never.
Mm.
If you go to Mount Kenya today, they have had presidents. There are people still suffering more than people in Garissa today and they're in Mount Kenya.
Mm.
If you go to such a location in Baringo district, where Moi came from and led Kenya for 24 years, there are still bandits killing citizens in that county. The president came from their home 24 years ago. I'm over 24 years. If you go to Nyeri
Yeah.
in Othaya, where Kibaki came from,
Mhm.
there are people who still do not have power and clean water, and the president was their neighbor.
Mm.
If you go to Homa Bay, where Wanga is the governor, women are still giving birth in dump sites and dumping kids there, and Wanga is the governor. If you go to Homa Bay, there is a place called Shauriak,
Mhm.
which is adjacent to the county, to the office of the governor in Homa Bay. I am not speaking about rumors that I read on papers. I walk around this country, Ben. I
Yeah.
do drive around Kenya. I rarely stay in one county for an entire month. I am
Mhm.
not speaking from a point of rumors. I'm speaking from a point of information.
Yeah.
There is nothing substantial that you can show. So the government, we don't need to care about who is the president, actually, who is
Yeah.
the governor. All
Mm.
we need to care about is the office is occupied by a person who understands their responsibility.
Mm.
That's all. The Kisumu County, they are not addressing security
Mm.
because the insecurity in Kisumu is not accidental. It is something that is well choreographed to achieve a particular objective. We
Political.
see politics at the center. No politician walks freely like I do as Sankara. I can drive my car and wave to somebody or park somewhere and just do my things without problems. They
Mm.
work with goons because they know they are the chief goons. You don't need to protect your people to protect yourself against your people. If you are good, what are
Mm.
you hiding? Why are you protecting? You are saying a leader is chosen by the people. Goons do not vote. Ruto will see bad things come 2027. Those goons are on job. They don't have jobs. They need money. They must eat. They are
Mhm.
going to eat. But the insecurity,
Mhm.
I was shocked when one of the MP made a serious allegation that a mere goon can command a entire OCS, a whole station. A goon is giving commands because the goon is connected to the man at the top of the hill. Do we
Mm.
have a country? That is something we don't need to entertain. We've had instances of people being clobbered right down here in Milimani.
Mm.
We've seen footages of people walking,
Mm.
being beaten and killed. The police can investigate who insulted the president and track them all the way to Moyale and bring them to Nairobi and take them to court. But they will never show you that person who probably stabbed and killed a woman in the city.
Mm.
Where are our priorities as a country? You
Okay.
speak, you become an object of target.
Mm. The fear is that one creating fear, or what do that one do?
It is ruled by a fist.
Mm.
Create fear, then manage them.
Okay. Then for how long? Maybe.
I can tell politicians, and you will bear me witness, and I'm saying this here today, just feed them on human flesh and blood.
Mm.
By the time they're done with us, they will come and eat you alive. Just brood them. keep them eating. But one day, once they're done with your target uh, opponents, they will turn against you and they will finish you the same way they're finishing innocent citizens. That's the all I can say about the culture of goonship.
Okay. All right.
If
Maybe.
you decide today
Uh,
to keep a lion in your compound,
mhm,
you will feed the lion of uh, the cow flesh.
mhm.
But once you've exhausted all your dairy, then the meat demand is constant. They will kill you and you'll serve as the last dinner before they can eventually starve. So that is a warning to politicians.
Mhm. Okay.
Raising a kid,
Yeah.
giving birth, siring, protecting, guiding, nurturing, and raising a kid is not a walk in the park. It
Yes.
pains me when I see a human life being taken out of political disagreements. It is the art of a civilized mind to entertain other people's thoughts and opinions respectfully, in as much as you do not or may not agree to them. Actually, we don't have to agree, but we have to respect our divergence in opinion, which must not be resultant into deaths and chaos.
Mhm.
You find a politician walking into a funeral.
Yeah.
They find mourners, a bereaved family seated.
Yeah.
They walk in with goons. They disrupt the funeral process
Mhm.
as if they will not die. They disrupt the funeral process. They create mayhem.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the
Maybe.
funeral now is turns chaotic because of goons. They want to be seen. If you really want to be seen, we
Mhm.
want to see you in parliament. We have someone here in my constituency. We have some
Yeah.
funny MP by the name Shakil Shabir. The
Yeah.
man only sits at the back of the house, chewing madafu in parliament. He leaves parliament, goes and takes some biryani rice, and that's the end of it. He never speaks in parliament. He never says he's present. But the moment he gets to a funeral, he speaks the loudest. Maybe he knows the language of the dead.
But I'm told, I don't know how true this is, especially they call him, if I can say it in Kijaluo, Won Mogo, especially ni Baba wa Unga. How did that? Why did they baptize him with that name?
Shakil gives 2 bales of maize flour
Mm-hmm.
in funerals. Not just every funeral that he knows
Mm.
that people will be there.
Yeah.
I want to tell the MP, you are feeding the dead and foreigners. Munga is not helping locals.
Yeah.
But because poverty is at its best amongst our people, we
Mm-hmm.
feel like eating unga in funerals is an achievement.
Achievement.
Whereas roads that can carry the sick to seek medical attention in hospitals are barely impassable. We feel it is a favor to be given maize flour and not to be given ambulance to rescue this person before it is dead. The MP will never know how many people are sick and are in which hospitals, but he will always know how many people are dead and when are they being buried.
Okay.
Shakil walks to every mortuary in Kisumu East.
Mhm.
He asks the morticians which body comes from his constituency.
Constituency.
He then, he then follows up with the family to give them unga.
So who should we blame here? Because like he does that, but now when it comes to election, people are electing him, despite the
We
fact
blame the people.
he's not doing the
Today,
wrong.
Ben, you can't walk freely in your own area. People are knocking door. Wait, personally, when I'm home, I sleep in my village. I don't have to rent house in town and my home is within the city.
Mhm.
People are not asking you how you should sit and discuss how to mitigate challenges.
Mhm.
They are telling you to give them something small, set them free. In Doluo or in Luo language, we call it Gonya.
Gonya.
How are you leaving us?
Mhm.
Where wanade?
Mhm.
Iti monango. How are we doing it?
Mhm.
All this rotates around money. So
Mhm.
we really need to know that as long as a politician is going to give you money, forget about development.
Mhm.
Because they say you can't bite ants that feeds you.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, maybe before we wind up, because I'm seeing we are remaining with a few minutes here. You've been person that has always have conversation around political parties, and we just want to at least know your thought on ODM, especially of what happened in Kirembe, because like we saw a mammoth of uh, uh, people who attended, and now there are situation arising, and people are saying that people were given money to mobilize. And if you look at the mobilization that was done, and based on the history of ODM, people are questioning that ODM is a party that used not to mobilize during the time of Baba. They did not have these power wrangles. Where do you see ODM maybe in the next 6 or 1 year, or in the when we are going to general
Mhm.
election, in the next general election? Where is ODM, or how is ODM going to be?
ODM will suffer the shock of a century.
Mm,
Politicians from lowland cannot empower farmers to produce sugarcane and use tractors to ferry sugarcane to the factories,
mm,
but they can fuel tractors to carry humans to a political rally. Shame on them. Shame on Gladys Wanga. Shame on Ochilo Ayako. Shame on Governor Anyang' Nyong'o and all leaders. Shame on you. How do you ferry people on a tractor? How do you ferry people on lorries? How do you use school buses for political activities?
mm,
In fact, I will petition Parliament to ban use of public school vehicles in political rallies. I know it will face objection, but it's something I'm religiously working on as the youth senator for Kisumu through
yeah.
my organization. We are going to petition Parliament so that a bill is enacted to stop that.
Mm,
ODM is dead. The day we said rest in peace, His Excellency, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, that is the day we buried the orange. Whatever we are remaining with today is a shell of an orange. And if the orange is there, then it is rotten and it
mm,
has no seeds. It is not going to reproduce. ODM used not to pay people to attend. Here we have an ODM which is quote unquote washing people. They're telling you attend and get paid, but at the end of the day, they are not paid. The
mm,
ODM we have is now a government lobby group and not a political party.
mm.
Even if I see as a voter, I walk into a polling station, then I find a ballot box printed with a ballot paper printed with number 1, Gladys Wanga, number 2, a dog. I will vote for that dog instantly.
Why would you do that? Do you
I
think
would
like?
rather vote for a dog. A dog is more loyal and friendly
Mhm,
than how our leaders are behaving with our people. How do
mhm,
you ferry? I mean, some of the people ferried in tractors are old citizens who require sensitive handling.
mhm.
Just because they want numbers, they are carrying anything.
But
You
but do
must
you
not
think
accept that.
do you think they over miscalculated in case they wanted to make ODM strong? What could have been wrong by them having their rallies in different counties? They go into towns. Could that one made sense rather than?
They cannot. They
Mm,
cannot because those counties are rebelling against ODM. So they
oh,
had to come to Kirem. I mean, how do you carry people from Migori and then address them as Jokisumu Untie? One Kanye, we are not there. How do you carry people from Homa Bay, then you address them as the people of Kisumu? Are you there? We are not there. So I want to tell the ODM shell, the ODM shell that is acting as a political party, that your time is up, you've missed it, and before you realize it, you'll never be there.
So let's say they are going to work with UDA, and we know always that being what they say, that ODM is the strongest party right now, and the party leader has declared
strong where
in Kenya, from south of River.
A strong political party, Ben, is a political party that is defensive in parliament. It's a political party that is pro-people and proactive. It's a political party that says no and stands with no. A strong ODM is not that where the party leader is saying, work with us. Please, Mr. President, work with us. That is not an ODM. That is an OAM.
So how are they going to negotiate, bearing in mind that they've dropped even the deputy president position? How are they going to negotiate, and how are they going to come up, like be strong negotiator and have what they want?
Ruto is just using Wanga and the Hilk between now and August.
Yeah.
By the time he's going to get to elections, you know, Ruto is a very charismatic president. He's a sharp guy. He creates bonds directly with the people. He's no longer going to consult Wanga that he wants to come to Kisumu. Wanga will just sit somewhere and the ODM, and they will be getting news that the president is in Kisumu, and they're not aware. So he may actually not need them. What the president is doing is to keep the Luo basket broken, divided, and no, I mean, not unconsolidated, so that it works to his advantage.
Yeah.
Yes.
Sankara. Talk to me. I'll make sure that the soda here umetumiwa hapa na Goodyear. I said that Brother Benson Media, please buy for Kennedy Sankara some water. He has made me proud of Gladys Wanga out.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. I'll make sure that you get it by the end of the show. You know. So, but do you see a situation whereby they can retract their steps and say that, okay, we are headed in the wrong direction. Let's even bring people like Edwin Sifuna, James Orengo, so that we can chat way, so that before we start this negotiation with the president. Do you see them having
what are they really negotiating about? If the negotiation is not about creating factories in Kisumu, in Nyanza, in Homa Bay, if the negotiation is not about relocation of the fish processing farm in Thika back to Nyanza, that is not a negotiation. If the negotiation is not about revamping of the collapsing sugar industry in the Lake region, that is not a negotiation. If the negotiation does not surround or move about compensation of victims of police brutality, that is not a negotiation. If the negotiation is not about development, which is not even a political function, actually the president is not doing us a favor when he comes and launches a railway in Kisumu. In fact, he needs to launch more railways. He's not doing us any favor. That is, development is constitutional, not political. Maybe people can be hoodwinked by people like Wanga that we are in government. We need to, you know, we don't need to know whether we are in government or not. What we need to know is a working governor, a proactive senator, a committed legislator. So we really don't need, it is not a favor. I will always say, Ben, quote and quote in capital, development is constitutional, not political. It is budgeted, it is planned, it is executed via the exchequer, not via the president's masses. If the president comes to launch a project that is not budgeted, then that is a political rhetoric. So to me, now I'm seated here, Ben. I am a citizen. My car was flooded. Do you want to engage me in a conversation where you are going to open dikes as part of disaster preparedness and mitigation, or you are going to assemble me to take 2 kgs of unga or maize in a chief's camp as a way of mitigating floods? I come from Kano. Kano is plain. Kisumu County sits in the assembly, budgets for disaster, but they will never mitigate, prepare, and prevent flooding in Kano. When it's dry, this place is Kano desert. There is no water. When it rains, it pours, it floods, it becomes a lake. They don't speak about it. So really, what are we saying? What are we doing? We really need people who know what the people want. So if the negotiation is not about people like us from Kano, if the negotiation is not about harvesting excessive rainwater, storing it for irrigation, we are going to elevate food production within the locality. We don't need to get vegetables from Kitale, whereas we have water flowing through River Mayenya, and whatever, that we can harvest and actually empower the local small-scale farmers to produce vegetables. They are going to use this money to pay school fees. They are going to use this money to pay the scandalous share. But the politicians want to make us beggars, that we cannot do anything on our own. And that's why it trickles down to even the companies. We no longer have a working industry in Nyanza. Economic empowerment and economic stability can only be achieved through a production economy laced with industrialization, not through propaganda of a PS interior dishing out money through goons in a city. We are not empowering us, and we don't need. I am speaking painfully as a young person and a father of young people. I'm not going to die and leave baggage to this country that we don't speak on things that are going wrong. So we really need to prioritize our needs as we try to negotiate. Have they done public participation to ask the people what the people want to negotiate? What is it that Wanga knows that he wants to go and tell Ruto that Ruto do not get from the intelligence that is within Nyanza region? What is it that Wanga wants to go and negotiate that we, the people, have not been consulted and ratified that she should go and negotiate? So those are political pronouncements that can only make happy village salads. I believe we don't have such in Kisumu and the entire Nyanza region.
Okay, among the resolution, or among the ODM resolution at Kirembe rally that took place in Kisumu on Sunday, number one, maybe because there are people like you who have divergence view, or who maybe if we'll be seeking office, or maybe we'll having negotiation with the other parties, you will not do it through ODM. But the declaration was this, that the people of this region, that is the people of Luo Nation, are one indivisible and united people, and any engagement present and future can only be done through their party ODM. That is one of
Kenya is a multi-party democracy. ODM is a political party, just like the over 178 political parties we have in Kenya. Labeling Nyanza as a mere political stronghold of ODM is unconstitutional. I, Sankara, do not subscribe to the ODM rhetoric, and I will not subscribe to it. My father was in ODM. My mother does not belong to ODM. So it is unfair to say that this region, The right statement is ODM party within this region shall speak for its members in that direction. My MP, who is lazing around in parliament, is an independent MP. How do you want to tell me that now the people of Kisumu East are in ODM? If we failed the ODM candidate, how does ODM speak for me when my representative is even on independent? So those are political rhetorics that can only make happy Sangwenyas. I believe most of us, the people of Kenya, are not Sangwenya. So Gladys Wanga is just trying to make the man at the top happy. Otherwise, I know Ruto is a very smart guy and he's going to dump Gladys Wanga like a hot potato. Before she realizes Ruto has moved ahead. I do not love William Ruto as a leader, but I only like him as a politician. I don't know what I'm saying, but that is it.
All right. Thank you so much, Kennedy Sankara, for your time and coming and sharing with us. I know if we find time again, we will engage you in other conversation dealing with the matter of good governance, accountability, and also matters that are trending um, currently trending. Thank you so much, and may take this opportunity also to thank Goodia for being with us, Judith, Brenda, Wesley, and everyone who was watching and did not comment. This is Brother Benson Media. We are streaming live on two platforms, that is Kikao na Sauti and also Brother Benson Media. If you're new in those two channels, you can also subscribe so that when we go live, the YouTube will notify you so that you can also join. You can join us in the conversation. Thank you so much. And this is Brother Benson Sankara. Maybe your last remarks.
I want to say to the people of Kenya, first allow me thank the viewers who joined us. Their time is actually appreciated and the opinions are important. All I can say is that good leaders are elected by bad leaders are elected by good citizens who shun electoral processes. Your responsibility is not to be mobilized to go and vote. It is just the beginning of your constitutional or civil responsibility to vote and hold accountable the people who've been voted in. Do not transact, make political a one-time transaction. Finish with me, go eat, then you start crying. By the time we're speaking as of now, the citizens should be flocking the homes of their MPs. They should actually chase them in the villages so that they run to parliament and represent, oversight, and legislate. So the day we fail to act, then our actions thereafter becomes meaningless. Thank you, Ben, for having me here. I appreciate. Looking forward to engaging you next time. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Sankara, for your time again, and everyone who joined us in this discussion. May God bless you all.